Hello. In this video, you'll discover some habits that can drastically harm your brain functions and put your mental health at serious risk. I bet you have at least one of these harmful behaviors in your daily routine, without even realizing it. Brain diseases are reaching truly alarming levels worldwide, creating a silent epidemic that affects millions. Currently, there are approximately 46 million people living with dementia globally, and this number continues to grow. This number is projected to double every 2 decades, reaching 74 million cases by 2030, and hitting the staggering mark of 131 million affected individuals by 2050, representing a global health crisis. Furthermore, every 3 seconds a new dementia diagnosis emerges somewhere on the planet. Current projections indicate that by 2050, we'll have 1 new case diagnosed every single second. Therefore, eliminating these harmful behaviors will be a fundamental step in protecting your precious mind. First habit: constant exposure to loud sounds. When we stay close to speakers at concerts or get exposed to noise from equipment like power drills, it's normal to experience muffled hearing. A persistent ringing in the ears also commonly appears in these uncomfortable situations. Usually, this sensation disappears quickly, giving the false impression that any damage has been completely reversed. However, most of the time the damage is permanent, even though it's not perceived immediately by the victim. This phenomenon is scientifically known as hidden hearing loss, a type of progressive injury that acts silently. This type of damage doesn't show up on conventional audiograms, which are the standard tests for detecting hearing problems. According to official data from the World Health Organization, over 360 million people face hearing difficulties worldwide. Eventually, we all attend fireworks displays, concerts, or witness moments with unavoidable loud noises. Since these events are generally sporadic, they don't represent the greatest danger to our hearing health. The real problem lies in daily habits, such as listening to music at excessive volumes through headphones. If you usually leave the volume at maximum and still wish it could be louder, take a break from using headphones. When you resume usage, you'll notice that the maximum volume will sound absurdly loud to your ears. This happens because your brain gradually adapted to the elevated volume, a process that occurs completely imperceptibly. Second habit: staying in darkness for extended periods. Although darkness often provides relaxing moments, prolonged deprivation of sunlight can have severely negative effects. Our brain can react in very unpleasant ways to this absence of natural luminosity and light exposure. This can lead to the development of significant and long-lasting depressive symptoms that affect daily life. This problem occurs mainly because the brain becomes confused regarding the release of melatonin hormone. Melatonin is the hormone responsible for regulating our natural sleep-wake cycle throughout the day. Consequently, you may feel unwell, fatigued, and sleepy at completely inappropriate times. Bad mood also becomes a difficult-to-control constant in these problematic situations. Over time, these negative effects accumulate progressively and transform into more serious health issues. Therefore, whenever possible, expose yourself to sunlight for several minutes daily to maintain optimal brain health. Third habit: poor and harmful nutrition. If we asked people about their first meal of the day, the typical response would be something like, "I eat 3 pieces of bread with cold cuts and half a cup of coffee loaded with sugar." And we're talking about just breakfast, supposedly the most important meal of the entire day. The population consumes insufficient quantities of fruits, vegetables, legumes, and foods rich in fiber and quality proteins. In contrast, there's excessive consumption of cookies, sodas, and heavily processed industrial products. These foods contain many empty calories and very few essential nutrients required for proper brain functioning. We hope this isn't your case, but when consuming fast food regularly, packed with sugar and unhealthy fats, brain immune cells become dangerously inflamed. This inflammation signals the body to experience an intensified sensation of uncontrolled hunger and cravings. The population ingests 50% more sugar than the daily recommended amount, which should be only 50 grams. The problem is that sugar stimulates the brain's reward system by releasing massive amounts of dopamine, This wouldn't be problematic if it were done with proper moderation and adequate balance. But when consuming constantly and in exaggerated quantities, you may experience complete loss of control in your actions. Food compulsions and withdrawal symptoms comparable to cocaine levels emerge when you go too long without consuming sugar. Additionally, sugar significantly impairs memory and drastically hinders learning, among other serious brain problems. Fourth habit: excessive alcohol consumption. Everyone knows that alcohol isn't beneficial for overall health, but the key issue lies in balance and moderation. Nobody will suffer serious consequences from consuming alcohol very sporadically and in small amounts. The problem arises when this becomes an addiction, at which point the brain begins to be severely damaged. Most alcohol-dependent individuals present serious deficiencies of vitamin B1 and magnesium, essential substances for brain function. Vitamin B1 deficiency causes severe mental confusion, progressive memory loss, and significant emotional instability. Meanwhile, magnesium deficiency can generate intense depressive symptoms, constant disorientation, and extreme uncontrolled irritability. The combination of these two substance deficiencies results in devastating and often irreversible damage to brain tissue. Fifth habit: sleep deprivation. Sleep is an essential function for complete bodily regeneration and optimal brain performance. It's during this period that the brain has the opportunity to reorganize itself and recharge its energies. When you don't sleep adequately, your brain doesn't have this necessary recovery opportunity. It begins daily activities already in a state of disorder and without complete energy reserves. Over time, this results in significant and permanent loss of important neurons throughout the brain. It also causes short-term memory loss and can lead to serious diseases like Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. In the book, Why We Sleep, the author details the critical importance of sleep and the problems caused by its lack. Additionally, it offers valuable guidance on how to improve the quality of nighttime rest and sleep hygiene. Sixth habit: sleeping with head covered. Sleeping with your head covered may seem harmless, but in reality, it's extremely harmful to brain health. By doing this, you breathe less oxygen and significantly more concentrated carbon dioxide, not to mention all the dust and bacteria present in this small chamber created under the blanket. Besides breathing contaminated air, you have severely limited access to fresh oxygen supply. This brings various brain problems over time, including premature dementia and cognitive decline. Seventh habit: insufficient hydration. Maintaining adequate hydration is one of the best things you can do for your entire organism. Water helps regulate body temperature, assists in digestion, and lubricates joints throughout the body. Among many other vital functions, it significantly improves brain capacities and cognitive performance. Considering that 77% of the brain is composed of water, proper hydration is absolutely fundamental. The rest of the body uses brain fluids for other vital processes when dehydration occurs. This causes brain cells to contract dangerously, affecting their normal functioning. This contraction can also pressure the skull and cause intense headaches and migraines. In fact, headache is one of the primary indicators of bodily dehydration. Furthermore, dehydration can cause a significant decrease in concentration capacity and mental focus. For complex cognitive activities, adequate hydration is absolutely essential for optimal performance. To avoid this, you should drink water until your urine becomes almost completely transparent. This way, you'll never have problems related to inadequate liquid intake and dehydration. Eighth habit: sedentary lifestyle. Here I'm not referring only to physical sedentarism, but mainly to mental stagnation and lack of challenges. Practicing physical activity is more than recommended. It's your responsibility as the owner of your own body. The benefits of this habit are extraordinary and transformative for overall brain health and function. The brain is an organ that needs to be exercised and constantly challenged to maintain its capabilities. When this doesn't happen, you enter a state of accommodation, as if it begins to deteriorate progressively. But if you've always maintained an active life and continuous learning, you'll age with a healthy brain. You can challenge your brain not only with logical reasoning games, but also through future planning and goal setting. Establishing personal and professional objectives, doing creative work, and in my preferred way, through regular book reading. When reading, you exercise attention, memory, and imagination simultaneously in an integrated manner. Reading, especially books, has the power to transform people and the world in positive ways. If you made it this far, leave your comment about which habit caught your attention the most. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications for more content like this.